Hey guys, Huck Sports Cards here. Well, it's New Year's Eve. Looking forward to watching those football games today and watching my Kentucky Louisville basketball game. Hopefully Kentucky wins. But guys, I'm wearing my Cat Daddy shirt today. We talked about that on the last episode. And matter of fact, some people asked me to kind of introduce my cats. So I'm going to introduce my three cats today. Sometimes you hear them meowing or their bells ringing while I'm doing my videos, so I'm going to introduce those three cats today on here. But guys, this episode today is going to be about my top 5 sports card shops that I've visited, okay, traveling along with my daughter on her college softball days and her travel softball days. We used to travel the country a lot, go to different cities and everything, different states. And I would always go to a card shop in those areas. So I want to tell you my top 5 card shops that I visited as I was doing that. And I'm also going to talk about the 2 card shops that are close to me now, which I love both of them. They're both great card shops. I want to talk about them. And I'm also going to talk about one that is that's no longer open, unfortunately, because the guy that ran it had passed away, the owner of it, and it's no longer around. And unfortunately, it happened about a year ago. But to be honest with you, that was the best card shop that I'd ever been to. The guy was the best, always gave you great deals and always had everything you needed. But I want to talk about that today. So yep, I'm going to do my top 5 of shops that I've ever been in as I was traveling. All right, guys. Well, some of y'all asked me to introduce my cats because you hear their bells in some of my videos and stuff. This right here, over here, is Luna. She was the first cat that we rescued. And when we got her in, we found out a couple weeks after we rescued her that she was pregnant and had four kittens, and one of them being Biggie. And the reason why he's named Biggie, because out of the 4 kittens, he was the biggest of all of them, so I named him Biggie Smalls. And so that's how we got these 2. And this is the new addition to our house that we got. And this one is called Prince. And the reason why it's haircutted is the way it is. We had to get it checked out at the vet and everything, because we couldn't bring it in if it had like feline leukemia or something like that, so it had to get checked out. And then we had to shave it down, check it for fleas, ticks, and everything like that. So they groomed it real well. So it is a long-haired cat, and it will grow back. So it looks kind of like a poodle right now, but it is a cat. So, but guys, these are our 3 cats that sometimes you see: Luna, Biggie, and Prince. Well, guys, let me first start with the 2 that's in my area, about 30 minutes away, but the 2 shops are within 5 minutes of each other. So if you're ever in the Louisville, Kentucky area, I suggest you go to Louisville Sports Cards and Through the Decades. Both those shops, like I say, are within about 5 minutes of each other, and you've got to hit them both. Both of them are incredible shops. Always have great vintage stuff at both those shops. I'm going to put their information up here, pictures of them, of their shops, and their information. But yes, if you're ever in the Louisville area, you definitely got to check out Through the Decades and Louisville Sports Cards. And you can check out their websites. They have stuff on there too. But yeah, definitely check those out. Those are just great shops. So I wanted to definitely talk about them. And now I want to talk about the one, before I get to my top 5, Mikey B's Bleacher Bums Collectibles. Mikey's was my definitely favorite all-time card shop I had ever been in. Mikey was such a great guy. It was in Carterville, Illinois. It was just outside of Carbondale, Illinois, where my daughter played softball. And I would go, every time I would go to games up there, I would stop in and see Mikey. And he was the greatest guy. I just hated that he passed away. I guess it was probably about a year or so ago. I mean, he had anything you needed, always. I've told the story before with my 72 Topps baseball. I walked in there one day And you know, he was asking me, hey, what are you looking for now? What are you building now? And I was like, you know, I'm starting at, or not starting, but I'm trying to do the 72 set. And then he pulled out this box where this guy had came in, and he had opened some 72, a box. It might have been a few boxes of it, actually, if I recall. And these cards were just brand spanking new, just out of the pack. And Mikey had bought them from him, other than like some of the superstars out of them. The guy wanted to keep those, but he, a lot of these commons, high number cards, because they were the later series box. And so Mikey gave me a great deal, like he always did. And, you know, guy was just always great. So unfortunately, Mikey B's is no longer around in Carterville. And I'm not sure what they're even doing with it, you know, because nobody ever opened it back up, and they may have sold the stuff off. Not really sure. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. That was definitely one of the best ones I'd ever been to. But all right, guys, we're going to get to my top 5 list now. All right, guys, well, let's get started with my top 5 list. And guys, please comment what some of your favorite card shops that you've been in. I'd really like to know, like to get an idea of different card shops in different areas that I may travel to that I need to take a look at. But guys, here's my top 5 list. So in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at number 5 of my top 5, number 5 is All-Star Sports Cards in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And the reason why that's in my top 5 is that was actually one of the first ones after I started collecting again, because I've told the story before how I sold all my cards for a 1979 Camaro in the mid to late 80s. And I'd sold all my cards to pay off that car and everything. And then when me and my daughter was traveling around the country for her travel softball, we were in Chattanooga one time for a tournament. And matter of fact, we played down there at least 2 to 3 times a year. So I was able to go to this shop all the time when we go down there. And they were the first ones. When I was driving through the town, I saw this card shop. I said, man, I haven't been in a card shop in a long time. I said, you want to go in there? And my daughter's like, yeah, let's go check it out, because she's a big baseball fan and everything. Well, we walked in. Well, just so happened they were remodeling at the time. And they had a bunch of 5,000 count boxes up against the wall. And the guy said to me, he said, hey, if you see any of those over there in the years that you won, he said, I'll give you a great deal. I said, well, you got anything in the 70s? He said, no, but I got some early 80s. And he had, like, I think it was 1980, 82, and 84. And he had 5,000 count boxes of those years. And I said, well, how much you want for them? And I can't remember the exact number, but it was really low. He said, yeah, I'll get rid of them. And they were basically just commons. There were some superstars in there. But I said, you know what? I'm going to buy them. And I bought them. And that's how I got started back collecting and building sets again, because I built the 1980 set, the 1982, and the 84 set from those boxes. And that just got me started again. So every time we would go to Chattanooga, I would go to that shop and pick up stuff from them. And they do a lot of stuff online. They do a lot of breaks online if you're into that kind of stuff. But I'm going to put their information up here also. But that was my top 5. That was my number 5. Okay. And number 4 is Indy Car Exchange. And that's in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Indy Car Exchange is, it's not a really big card store, but they have a lot of good stuff in there. They've got any boxes that you want and everything. They have a lot of stuff that they do online also. And but you can get like vintage commons, like see for a set builder like myself, you know, and I'm sure a lot of y'all do the same thing when you go around the country. And so if you're ever in Indianapolis and you got a list that you need to check, they should have stuff that you could look through. And I always enjoy that, just looking through stuff to try to fill my set list and everything. But yeah, the Indy Car Card Exchange, that's number 4 on my top 5 list. Okay, and number 3 on that list is 1 million baseball cards. 1 million baseball cards is just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and they have a ton of cards. Obviously, if you call yourself 1 million baseball cards, you better have a lot of cards. But they have a great shop, great setup there. You know, they have a lot of like boxes, $1 card boxes, boxes with just players' names that you could go through and stuff like that. Have a really nice showcase of cards to look at. And so, yeah, that's number 3 on my top 5 list. And number 2 is Baseball Card City. Baseball Card City is in Peoria, Illinois. And man, it was a really good shop. It's kind of like in a well, it's like I said, it's in Peoria, which ain't a big city, and but this shop was really nicely set up. They had a little bit of everything. Anything you wanted, they had it in there. I mean, if you wanted old, new, you know, if you wanted jerseys, hats, you know, dials of you know, baseball players and stuff. I mean, they had a little bit of everything. So yeah, it was definitely one of my favorites, my number 2 on my top 5 list. So, and number 1 on that list, when we went to Plano, Texas for a tournament, it was Triple Cards and Collectibles. Triple Cards and Collectibles. And I'm going to put up on the screen just their display wall of cards. Like I said, I'm a big set builder, so I really love that kind of stuff. Man, they had a whole wall of just cards in. They had the year, and they actually had the cards in order. So you would go in there with your list, and you could just pull these drawers out, and you could go through and pick out each and every one. And I remember when we were there, and I had my list with me, and I picked out, and that's when I really had just started. And like I said, when I was in Chattanooga, I bought all them like 84s and 82s and stuff. Matter of fact, I think I put 3 sets of 82s together. And when I was in Plano and went to this store, it helped me to finish some of those sets off because they had just everything you would want in all those things. You know, you like I said, you would just pull them out, the things would be in order, and you just pick through it. It made it so easy. It must take them forever to put all that stuff in order. But they also have newer stuff that they sell and everything. But yep, that was my number 1 on my top 5 list. So guys, I appreciate you watching, and I please ask you to give me some of yours. Do a top 5 list. I'd love to see it, or just give me a couple of them that you have been around the country and seen that you think are the best ones. You know, I'd love to visit some of these. Guys, I appreciate it. You guys have a great new year, and we'll talk to you later.